Okay, so in response to my last video where I was talking about running from God, a lot of response was why? Like, why would you run from God? God is the epitome of love and joy and peace and everything good, right? Like, you feel good when you're, in God's good graces and all of that. But so I had to think about, like, man, why was I running for so long? I mean, years. And I have to say it was, in short, trauma. Trauma. You could say church hurt or something like that, but trauma from yay highs. Like growing up, a church I went to half my childhood was my grandfather's church, and my grandfather was the pastor, the HNIC, and it was one of them churches where all the members, like 90% of your members, is family anyway. So it was good to go because you got to bust it up with your cousins, your aunties, whoever, you play drums, everybody sing. It's great. But it was also he was very controlling in a way that, and I just seemed to be the poster child for, let's make an example of, my power and what I can do or something like that. So I never forget, I spent the night at a homie's house when I was a kid. You do that. You spend it at your friend's house every once in a blue, right? This may have been the second time I did that, and come to find out, half the sermon is made about me, and I'm excommunicated from the church at 13 years old. So ain't no drumming, ain't no singing, ain't no nothing. And I was crushed by that because there was a point in time in my life where it's like maybe 3 years before my parents got divorced, so stuff was tumultuous at the household. Church was like my safe space. You know what I mean? That was like a good spot I could be at. Safe as hood stuff wasn't happening. You just there in that moment. Even if it's just an hour or two, you safe right there and it feel good. So to have that ripped from me, was a bad experience. You know what I mean? And happened again almost another 13 years later. I remember when I gave my life to the Lord, I was like 20 years old. I was, not selling drugs no more. I wasn't even doing drugs no more. I was, abstinent, all the above. I was really doing it. You dig me? And so, but I never forget when things did start to fall off and I started to backslide a little bit. Long story short, I had a baby out of wedlock. And you would have thought I did the worst thing on earth. You know what I mean? Like my Christian rap group that I was in, gospel rap, whatever, the way they turned their back on me at that time was just like, it was hurtful. You know what I mean? My church at the time was a different church. The way they they wouldn't even call me, send me an email. Like when I'm telling you, it was the cold shoulder from people that I thought I could always love and confide in, brothers and sisters in God. That wasn't it. You know what I mean? And so the trauma of like, why would I put myself out there and give my heart, knowing I can get hurt, that kind of set me away. But in all of that, I realized that my relationship with God is my relationship with God. It got nothing to do with people. So I did learn out of that experience. Another reason why I was running was because, truthfully, I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to, people, when you start publicly demonstrating God and talking about God, people naturally put you on this pedestal of perfection. And I know darn well, I ain't perfect, you dig? So so that fear, that pressure, like, man, I could drop the ball any day. I probably sin every day. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the poster child for, I got my life figured out and you know what I mean? And so I don't like that natural progression that people, you might be the only light somebody sees, so they put you on this pedestal, and I darn sure don't like that. So, I was running from that too. And, a few things, also like I said, I know I could drop the ball. God has brought me a long way, but I still know I still got a temper in there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I know that, God forbid, in the wrongest situation, I could go there, and I don't want to, and he's kept me from doing that, but that was the beginning of my fall off. My biggest Achilles heel was my temper, my anger. When I saw my brother Some people try to beat him up to death. Like, literally, I saw him in the hospital. The condition he was in set me off. You know what I mean? I'm on fire. You know what I'm saying? I go shooting at people and just, you know, I don't know, the anger got to me in a way that I just started unraveling. It took me a while before I could, you know, I had to kind of hit a rock bottom before I could look up again. And so I was running from God a lot. Plus, last but not least, it was like the calling that God was calling me to, like, of like preaching and pastoring and stuff. That's something I never want to do. I ain't never, what, me? No. I don't want nobody's blood on my hands. I ain't want to be that example for people and to people. And, you know, some people bleed pastors dry, and then they, you know, they got some of the most hardest work, you know what I mean? They said the toughest battles are for the toughest soldiers. Like, I'm tired of fighting. You know what I'm saying? I like peace, but nonetheless, I can't run. It's like, I for the second time in a year, God has let me know what it's like to just have no peace in my soul unless I'm being obedient. You know what I mean? And so, you know, in the comment section, comment if you've ever felt yourself running from God, or just running from a calling, or running from your purpose, or whatever, because it's uncomfortable, you don't want to do it, whatever the reason is. Comment the reason why you've been running from God. I would like to know. I would like to just vibe from you and just hear feedback from different ones who may also feel like God is calling their life and tugging on their heart in a way, and they've been running for whatever reason. And, you know, you're at a place where you're finally just yielding to it and submitting to it, or not. Or you may still have your hangups, whatever it is. I would love to just kind of see that, so we can just be a community and grow together. Honestly, I'm not the first person to run from God. Moses did it, you know, different ones did it. And I'm darn sure ain't going to be the last. But let's chime in on that. And, you know, it's probably some more reasons that I can't think of right now. But, hey, if you want to, you know, dominate your world, the first principle is faith. You got to be locked in. You got to be steadfast and movable. And mind you, when I'm talking about God, I'm talking about Father, Son, Holy Spirit, God of the Bible, Jesus. Like, let's not get that confused with the universe or whatever. No, I'm talking about the guy who made the universe. I'm not all into that. I'm talking about the true and living God. Jesus Christ, Messiah. I ain't talking universe, chakras, and all that other, you know, whatever, new age stuff. So I just wanted to make sure I'm clear on that too when I'm talking about what I'm talking about. So other than that, continue to pray for me on this journey. Love you all. Dominate your world. I'm out.